let's watch. Let's end with this video. This kind of ties into everything we've been talking about today, and we didn't get to watch it yesterday, so maybe we'll end the show with this today. Just some good info, mostly. This is another good one from River. So River, that graphic earlier in the week about the U.S.'s strategic reserves through the years. So they were holding helium as a strategic reserve. Then they were holding cheese, 1.5 billion pounds worth of cheese on their strategic reserve. And then they were holding, obviously, the petroleum for the petrodollar. So this is a really informative clip here from River. So let's watch this to end the show today, because it didn't really fit into anything we were talking about yesterday.
What does it mean for the United States to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve? How would this impact the financial position of the country? And how would it affect Bitcoin? Let's take a step back and explain what a strategic reserve is and why Bitcoin is an interesting reserve asset. A strategic reserve is when a government or business stockpiles specific materials to help when unexpected events arise. Examples of strategic reserves are food, water, oil, metals, minerals, medication, and now Bitcoin.
Is food really a strategic reserve, though? I mean, I know they use cheese, but I feel like food is not a great thing to be storing as a strategic reserve for a long period of time, right? Because obviously we know that food goes bad over time. So I don't know if that's short term maybe, but
if a government holds onto a surplus in food and water, it can help the population in times of natural disasters or war. So why would a government want to hold Bitcoin? What strategic benefits could be gained from that? Let's take the example of the United States to explain. The U.S. national debt is over $35 trillion today. Last year, over $1 trillion in taxpayer money went towards paying off just the interest on this debt. Anything that can help the U.S. pay off its debt strengthens the financial position of the country. One way to strengthen your position is by holding assets that increase in value over time. If this happens faster than new money is being printed, then it could help a country pay off a larger amount of debt in the future. The orange line represents how Bitcoin has grown by an average of over 60% per year for the past 10 years. Bitcoin's value grows so fast because it has a limited supply of 21 million, making it more scarce than gold, currencies, and other stores of value.
I love this chart here. Look at this supply. So after every halving epoch, you can see that it kind of gets the angles less sharp. But this is where we are right now, pretty much 2025, which is wild to say. But look at the new supply coming for the next, and it'll stay flat for the next 100 years. That's what we got to look forward here. We only got 6% of the Bitcoin left to be mined.
Currencies and other stores of value. This supply can't be changed. You would have to convince the vast majority of the network participants that the Bitcoin they hold will become worth less, and they won't agree to that. Many people have tried to create copies of Bitcoin, but these never got close to having the same network effects. One country that already has a strategic Bitcoin reserve is El Salvador. It holds around 5,800 Bitcoin, worth around $340 million, and has made a profit of 38%, or around $50 million so far. The United States already owns 213,246 Bitcoin today.
213,246 Bitcoin that they stole.
More than any other country by confiscating it from the Silk Road marketplace and funds stolen from the exchange Bitfinex. If the U.S. could obtain 5% of all the Bitcoin supply, for example, this could help to pay off a significant portion of the national debt. If more countries create a strategic Bitcoin reserve, the price is impacted more. So being among the first countries to adopt it can be a great strategic move to increase your wealth relative to other countries. It forces all countries to consider this decision or risk being left behind. Bitcoin and all of its individual holders also benefit from this adoption, as owning and using it will keep getting easier over time. behind. It can be national debt.
Let's
if
see
more countries create
that,
a strategic Bitcoin reserve, the price is impacted more. So being among the first countries to adopt.
So wherever that is, it's actually a deadly flag. They got 621, and they showed up on the radar here. So
adopted can be a great strategic move
have
to increase your wealth relative to other countries. It forces all countries to consider this decision or risk being left behind. Bitcoin and all of its individual holders also benefit from this adoption.
All right, so this is after seeing that. Oh, AD says that's the Kingdom of Bhutan. Interesting. So after seeing that, somebody left a comment on my YouTube channel saying you shouldn't be talking like this without a disclaimer saying this is not financial advice. And I said, well, actually, it is financial advice. So why would I put the disclaimer on there? And it's the exact same thing I'm going to say right now. If you're in Canada, Canada has 0 Bitcoin. Canada has 0 gold in the vault, sold it all to China. So if you're planning to store your wealth in something, I would strongly consider looking outside of Canada. Do not be holding Canadian dollars right now. They're losing value by the second here. And I think Canadians would be a perfect, if you're a Canadian, I mean, this is relevant to anybody, but consider making the shift towards a Bitcoin standard. And what I mean by that is at the start of every month, if you got 2,500 of expenses that you're going to be like, not your rent, not your mortgage, but like the things that you can pay for with your phone, figure out what those expenses are on the first day of every month, put that into Bitcoin. No, sorry, that's not my advice. Cancel that. Take half of it. So let's say your expenses that you pay with your credit card every month are $3,000. Take half of it and hold it in Bitcoin. Take the other half, leave it in cash. And so I would say actually physical cash. That's what I would recommend, but either one works, fiat. And so whenever you go to spend something, so let's say you need to go, you're filling up your tank with gas. You look at the Bitcoin price on the first day of the month, August 1st. And if it's higher than it was then, if it's higher today than it was then you sell some Bitcoin, spend some Bitcoin. You're not selling it, you're spending it. If it's lower, if the price drops since August 1st, then you use your fiat. And I mean, if the price continues to go down for the whole month, then, I mean, just use fiat the whole time and just keep that Bitcoin for next month. But strongly consider that, because you'll notice that some months you're actually going to create a huge amount of purchasing power for yourself. So even though the prices of everything are skyrocketing, if you pretty much lock in Bitcoin at the start of every month, it's going to actually get cheaper for you. Depending on the month to month, everything changes. But especially where we are in the Bitcoin cycle right now, probably for the next 12 or 16 months, I think that's a perfect strategy for hedging yourself against a currency that's losing value by the minute. So as AD says there, it's not financial advice, it's life advice. It's just logical. That's it. Oh, AD says that the Kingdom of Bhutan has been secretly